Hello again. In this video I want to show you the Bandit SRV210, 210, 210, whatever you want to call it. This is a speedboat, I haven't done many speedboats, only the Bandit 225 I think it is. So I wanted to show you this more newer one for 2019. It came out a while ago, but remember it's just that it's 2019 and I'm now catching up a little bit. This is quite a cool fun boat. It does have wakeboarding feature. The wakeboard is not included, but you can buy that as a separate item from Dutch Harbour. It does, however, come with an AA tube, which you can have fun with, where basically one of you drives the boat and the other one gets on the tube and gets thrown about all over the place, and it's a whole lot of fun. I'm probably not going to do that in this video. I'll let you discover that bit for yourself. But what I'm going to do is just show you the basics of rezzing a boat out, because in the previous videos the boats were already here, and then how to basically get going with the boat, and just give you an idea of what to expect when you buy your first boat. So first tip, rezzing in SL is fun. If you're new to SL, you may have had various frustrations trying to rezz things out and them not rezzing, saying it's a rezz zone but you're not allowed to rezz here and stuff like that. The problem with the 3D world is it's the viewpoint as we see it is more vast than it is. I don't know how quite to word that, but you click out here somewhere in front of yourself, and it could be a lot further away from you than you realised, and then actually not be in the parcel that you're in. So the first thing I do is I put my mouse over myself, over my avatar, and I left click and hold down the left button, and then I drag the mouse towards me, which brings the camera like this, and I take it all the way towards me till it stops. So I'm literally looking from directly above myself. I know that I can rezz in this bit in front of me here. So I'm going to drag my boat out into that area. That means I will rezz here straight in front of me and not actually 100 meters away from myself, because the viewpoints, mess with my eyes, if you like. So when you get a boat over here in the inventory, there are two of them here, but that's because I've created one that I've customized. What I generally do is I'll put the boat out, customize it how you want it, and then take a copy of it with all those customizations, and it will end up the top one. So you always have a copy of the original boat, but then you've got your one, and you can probably rename it, but I just have it there at the top. So you hold the left mouse button while you're clicking and drag it out, still holding the left mouse button. You can see the little plus sign there. Get in the water area and then just let go. And that will rezz the boat. Now the boat won't always rezz out in the direction that you want it to. In this case, I'm scrolling out of the mouse wheel. You can see it's gone halfway through, it hit me on the head, all sorts of crazy. That kind of happens, don't worry about it. Right click on the boat, choose edit, press down the control key, that brings up the move, rotate to spinny things. On the blue one, drag it round. Now you see the grid, you can snap them. I'll just snap it to the grid there. Onto the green one, click and hold left mouse button, drag it across, let go. Click any of these, hold down left mouse button, you can move it in the direction that the arrows are pointing. When you're happy that it's stable, just close the edit window and then press escape, which will reset your camera back to normal, and now you're safe to get in the boat. So right click on the boat. Now then, here's a good thing for those of you that are beginners. I'm wearing a hood, and as you can probably see on my screen there's this weird highlighted area because I've just clicked on an area. It's actually a hood, so I'm not clicking on the boat like I thought I was. What I'm going to do in that case is I'm going to detach this hood because I don't need it, so it's out of the way. Right click on the boat, boat lights up, sit here, and that's me on the boat ready to roll. Now going back to the inventory a second, you get instructions with most boats, and there's a manual. Double click it, and here you have the manual. The manuals will explain a lot about the boat to you. It'll also show you quick start information, how to get going. Right click on the boat's hull and select sit here. Type start to start the boat, up arrow to keep pressed to increase the throttle, down arrow keep pressed to slow down the throttle. To stop the engine, type stop. Then there are extra features like camera resets and various other things which I'm not going to go into, but read these instructions because it does have everything you need to enjoy the boat to its fullest. And most boats will come with those. The good thing with Bandit boats, they do come with boating resources, which shows you the groups and how to find all the places where you can res to get out and sail, and the virtual world sailing forum and other places that you can go to in order to, and the code of conduct on being nice to each other in the sea, that all vessels shall give way to sailboats racing or cruising, and that all vessels are granted the right to use the Blake Sea. So in other words, sailing boats obviously are governed by the wind, so if you're in a speedboat, let them go past, because it's much harder to control one of those than it is speedboat, where we can just say go and stop. And just remember that we've all got right to use the waters here, so let's share together and be nice. So we'll close that and we will start her up. So start, and the engine starts up. Now you can sail in this view, which is like the third person. Just going to press the up arrow to get moving slowly there. Okay, press it again. You just keep pressing the up arrow and that pushes the throttle forwards. Now you can sail in this view, but I personally like to do it in mouse view. In the video that I previously did with the IF, I did it in this view for people, as most people would do it in that view. But me personally, I like to sail with the mouse view on, which is like that. So it feels like I'm actually in the boat, and I can see all the controls and everything. But of course, the viewpoint does mean I can't see where I'm going. I generally don't look down at these controls. I would just look out the window like this and sail like this. So I would actually sail like this, using my mini map as my radar and just looking where I'm going basically. Get out into the water. Once we're out into the water, I will increase my draw distance so I can see where I'm going. I only have it down low so that we get good frames per second while we're in a built-up area. So DD for draw distance. I'll go to 512 as we're going out and about. And we're going to turn left here. So left and right arrow keys will control the direction that the boat's going in. I'm still, as you can hear, going quite slowly at the moment. Right, once everything is drawn, which it appears to, we'll then start pushing the up arrow up. Keep pressing it, keep pressing it, keep pressing it. If you just keep pressing it, you'll get to a point like this. I'm pressing it now, but notice that the sound of the engine is not changing. We're at full throttle at this point. With a lot of the Bandit boats, you need to watch out. Don't drive them at full throttle. So now I'm at full throttle, press down arrow once, just to make sure you're not on full throttle, because some of them will overheat. And if you overheat, the engine will pack out and you'll have to wait till it cools down. So I tend to drive my boats 1 down or 2 down from the very highest speed, at cruise speed if you like. This boat's got some cool features when it comes to that. If you press page down, it will immediately stick you to neutral, which allows you to stop quickly like that, which can be very handy if you get into a skirmish or anything. But it also has a really cool I want to get going again button. If you press page up, it goes to full speed. The nose lifts up, your head flies back into the pillow, and off you go, and then just take it down. So you've got page down for a full stop, page up for a full start, and then the up and down arrows to control your speed in general, and left and right arrows to steer. That's how easy it is to control this boat. So for those of you out there that may have seen my other videos and are like, oh, the sailing looks a bit complicated, don't worry. You can just get a speedboat like this, where you can still cruise around, explore Second Life, and not worry about having to control sails and all that kind of thing. Now, as you can see, at full speed like this, the boats are harder to control. So if you see traffic coming the other way, I would always advise that you slow right down till you've passed each other, and then you speed back up again. Even the most proficient sailor on SL, I'm sure, will tell you a story where even with the skills they've got, if a sim crossing goes bad or something else, they're probably going to end up in somebody's living room. So if you see something coming, do just slow down. It only takes a few seconds off your experience, and then you won't have a crash with them or into somebody else, or crash completely, because SL doesn't like speed. If your vehicle's moving at high velocity and it loses you, it can struggle, especially with the prediction behaviour, and you end up getting kicked out of SL completely. That's less likely to happen to you if you're going slower. So there are benefits to you just taking it easy. As you can see here, these sim crossings are at these kind of speeds not as smooth. If you watched my previous videos, you'd have seen that the sailing boat's quite a smooth crossing. When you're moving in a big vehicle that's moving quite quickly, you will get a certain amount of strange behaviour. We call this the predict behaviour, because if you see the white line as we're heading to it on the minimap there, hit that white line, that's a sim crossing, so any minute we know we're going to bounce back. See, we got a snap back as we crossed, and we didn't cross very well. So this tells us that we're not crossing very well at all. The boat's starting to cycle to the left, we're stuck on the line, and nothing's happening. Now this is probably going to crash us, so this video will be edited and we'll carry on from here. Oh no, but you see what happened there. Now okay, there you go. I'm going to keep that in so you can see it. This is what can happen with a bad crossing. For some reason that crossing really wasn't a good one. We were stuck there for ages. Now there I was lucky, we snapped back, but you won't always. Take the speed down. Yeah, when the crossing conditions in SL are like this, the chances are the last thing you want to do is do anything at speed, because you saw what happened there. By the time I came back I was halfway across the sim. So then that can happen. If it's a bad day, it can be really bad. Take it easy. High speed crossings, they can be interesting. In the main water they can be fine, but as you just saw then, in this particular instance they weren't so fine. And this boat's quite controllable, as you can see there, taking the arrows up and down wasn't too difficult. I don't know how many of you can see it on the actual video, but quite comically that bad crossing has made my viewer think that Bexy's not in the boat anymore. And in fact, if you look really closely, oh no, I think she might have just snapped back in now. But she was for a little while there, floating in front of the boat. That little person you could see in the distance, she's now apparently just not on the boat at all. You will find that you can lose your passengers. So what do you do when that happens? Stop the boat. Stop the boat. Completely stop it. Alright, and then let that person come to you, or send them a teleport. So here you go, Bexy sent me a teleport here. Oops, what's happening here? I'm in mouse lock. Little trick, press the Alt key, and you should be able to then click on that, and then let go of the Alt key, and you're back in there again. Wait for your passenger to get back on, and you'll do this a lot, so get used to this. If you lose them, hit the brakes, just get them, stop the boat. The great thing about stopping the boat is it resets all the scripts in the boat, which means when they get on and they sit down, everything's reset and you can carry on. If you try to get them on the boat, not doing that, the boat can get all upset. The scripts think she's still there when she's not, and all sorts of things can happen. Now, she's only a cloud, so she's obviously had a bit of a rough time on that crossing. I'm probably a cloud 2 to her, I don't know. But she's on the boat now, so it's safe for me to carry on. So we start the engine back up, and we go about our journey. Hit the full speed button to get me going, that's the page up. And then I just back off a little bit with the arrow keys, so I'm not going at full speed. What I usually do is you learn the sounds. So I can hear the sounds there, it's low rev, and that's just one step into the high rev, which with the conditions in this particular area right now, I think this speed's probably a safer speed for us to travel at. Again, you kind of learn to do this with experience. You can kind of feel if the crossings are going well or not, and if they're not, just slow down. Generally speaking, that will just make the crossings a little less painful. For those of you that are using the latest version of the Firestorm viewer, there is an option now where you can change the crossing behavior. I'm currently running an old version of the viewer which uses the prediction method, which is where when I cross a sim, there's a few seconds and it pulls me back when it figures out where I really am. There's an option called stop, where it will actually stop on the line and then go again once the crossings happen. So it means you will keep stopping at every single crossing. Your boat will stop moving, but the reliability of the crossings is meant to be a lot better. Personally, I prefer this behaviour because I'm just used to it. And unfortunately for me, the latest version of the Firestorm viewer does not perform well on my machine. It in fact crashes me out a lot, and I've had to I can't use it. It's made Firestorm unusable for me since they brought in the new crossing code. So I'm hoping that those bugs will get ironed out soon. But for now, I'm using, I think, 6.02, which is the Animesh release before that code got deployed, and this viewer doesn't crash for me like the new one does. So here we are at our final destination for this video, Angel Airport. There are many Angel airports. I don't know who owns them. Angel, presumably. They've got quite a few of them all around the grid. There's this one, there's some down in the Blake. They've got a distinctive look about them, so you can travel between them. They have airfield, they also have marina. Let's start slowing down. So do check those out. You will learn that there are all sorts of landmarks around the place. And these kind of landmarks, big airfields with a name, are quite useful for finding your way around and navigating. So, like here, a lot of the public marinas have jetties. I call them jetties. I can never remember the jetties, docks. What's it? Claire called it promenades. There's lots of names for these bits of wood that stick out. But I'm coming in a bit. This is a sim crossing, right? Hit the page down button. There we go. Instant stop. Pressed it forward once just to get a slow tick over. And you can literally just park up somewhere. They're rentals by the look of it, so you can't go there. Do have a nose around looking for the public area. I'm probably in the wrong place. They're rentals, so they obviously belong to people renting the slips. But you can find the places and go and explore. So hopefully that's shown you some of the basics of a speedboat. And giving you a quick overview of this particular Bandit boat. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope it's useful. As ever, do let me have comments if there's anything you felt like I missed, or there's something you'd like me to show you or give you information on. Do let me know in the comments. But other than that, I'll see you again soon. Oh, look at that. Bye for now.